Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here from QBKing77.com, here to do a full review of the Asus Zenfone 2, a pretty exciting device because it has 4 gigs of RAM and it only is going to run you $299 off contract. Now this might compare with a phone such as the Alcatel One Touch Idol 3, which I'll do a comparison of soon, so be sure to subscribe if you want to be notified of that. Now I'm pretty happy Asus is jumping into the budget phone market, especially with a solid device. So let's go ahead and take a look at the design, the specs, and the software of the device and see how it stacks up to other budget devices in the same area and even flagship devices as well. Alright, so here's the Asus Zenfone 2. You'll see I did get the red variant, which I actually like the looks of it myself. You'll see on the back it kind of has a brushed metal look to it. But it is plastic. I mean, it's completely plastic on the back. It's protected by Gorilla Glass 3 on the front. Asus tried to take a couple pages out of LG's book when it comes to design, where they took the volume buttons and stuck them on the back. Now there is no power button on the back. You'll see the volume buttons right here. They're a little bit smaller than the ones on the G4 and G3. They're a little difficult to find at times, but they're okay. They're not anything crazy good. Then up at the top is the power button, and that's not a good spot for a power button in my opinion. They try and combat it with double tap to wake and double tap to sleep as well, which helps, but it's still not the same of having the ease of not having to adjust your hand to reach the power button. The power button in and of itself, you need to press fairly firmly to get it to go down, which is fine, but it's just in the wrong spot. So if you're readjusting, trying to press that button, then it's just a little bit difficult and not one of my favorite design features of this phone. Now at the top you'll see a 3.5mm headphone jack, and then you got a 13 megapixel camera, dual LED flash, micro SD card slot down at the bottom. Now you'll see on the back you have a very big speaker grill, which you might think, oh awesome, it's going to have some solid sound quality. But let's go ahead and take off the back, because the back is removable. The battery is not though. There's a 3000 milliamp hour battery inside. And you see we take it off and the speaker's just in that bottom left hand corner, and honestly the performance isn't really that great in general. I'd say it's below average. It's a little tinny sounding when you play audio, but in the back you have a dual SIM card slot and a micro SD card slot to expand your storage as well, so that's really nice. Here's just another look at those volume rocker buttons. It's better, it feels better with the case off, just because what they decided to do is give it a feel of you're just pressing into the case, so it doesn't protrude out at all, so it's a little difficult to find. That's kind of what I meant by that. And then on the front here you have back, home, and recent apps buttons. There's really a decent amount of bezel on the side here, even on the top and bottom, even with the volume and power buttons not on the side. You see this has another interesting little texture to it to give it a little reflective look down at the bottom. I think it's kind of neat myself. And then you have a 5 megapixel camera up at the top as well. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the screen. Before we get into the video, let's have a quick note from our sponsor. Harry's offers premium shaving products at a low price. I know personally when I go shopping for razors, I have to actually get someone to open up the security box for me to get these razors that are actually higher priced than Harry's razors. At Harry's.com you can get quality German blades for half the price of big name drugstore brands. 2 guys started Harry's.com and they just wanted to create a superior shaving experience. They give you a better shave at a better price. Shipping from their factory in Germany, they cut out the middleman, which brings their prices down. And not only is this convenience of online shopping, but shipping is always free. So you don't have to worry about hassling, oh, well, I buy it online, but I gotta pay these extra shipping costs. You don't have to worry about that, and satisfaction is guaranteed. You can get Harry's starter shave set, which is a Truman set, for just $15. And that actually includes a razor, 3 blades, and your choice of Harry's shave cream and foaming gel. Personally, I'm a foaming gel kind of guy. And of course, I'm not gonna leave you guys hanging. You can enter the code QBKing77, get $5 off your first order, so you can get a month's worth of shaving supplies for just $10. So head over to Harry's.com now and enter code QBKing77. So you have a 5.5-inch 1080p IPS display, which kind of pushes the phablet style. It's a very large screen, of course, and honestly, it's not insanely good or anything like that. It's a nice display. It's just a little washed out with the colors at times, and also it just doesn't get very bright. It could get a lot brighter when you're outside. I kind of struggled to see it at times. Now when it comes down to it, yeah, the display is kind of mediocre. However, when you factor in that price point, you realize, oh, the display definitely is good for what you're paying. Whether you're playing games, you're watching videos, the screen does its job and you're going to be pleased when using it. All right, let's move on to software and performance. Now when it comes to performance, the Zenfone 2 has an Intel Atom Z3580 2.3 gigahertz quad-core processor, and like I said earlier, 4 gigabytes of RAM as well. And when it comes to real-world performance, it performs very well. It takes any task you need it to, and it runs smoothly. The only time you might run into an occasional stutter is when you're playing games, and that might be when you're doing high-end gaming. You might see an occasional stutter in a frame rate, but it doesn't happen often, and that's really the only time you're gonna get stutter. I was extremely impressed with how smooth it has been, whether I'm multitasking, whether I'm, like I said, even playing games is great. Those high-end games, just occasional frame rate drop, but that's really it. So overall, performance has been very good. Now, when we talk about software, it is heavily skinned. I'm sure you guys have noticed that throughout this video. It's on Android version 5.0. However, it has their skin called Asus Zen UI, which offers a lot of customizability, but it's also very intrusive. Some people might like that, some people might not. Now, I need to say this. There is so much bloatware. It's crazy, which, in a sense, is how they are able to bring their prices down, because some people can pay them to have their bloatware on the device. So to give you an idea, here's just a folder with some of the bloatware on the device. I haven't uninstalled all of them yet or disabled some of them. You have like Clean Master, which scans just about every app that you install. You have Doctor Safety. You have 50 plus games if you want to play those. You have a mirror, which actually is going to activate the front-facing camera, and that's it. This is all it does. It just acts as a mirror, which you don't need because you can just activate the front-facing camera in the camera app. And then finally, you also have an app called Omelet Chat. And if it's not going to make me an omelet every time I tap on it, I really, really don't want it on my device. Now, even with all that bloat, like I said, performance still has been very good. To give you an idea, you have these quick panel toggles down here, which are very large, which is fine. You can edit them as well and add specific ones that you like. Now, the home launcher comes with so many different variants. There's even theme options throughout the operating system, so you can load those up. You'll see you can change themes on the fly. It changes a lot of various things. Let's go ahead and go to the lock screen real quick. You'll see you can add some shortcuts. You can customize those, whether it's camera, dialer, messenger, all that good stuff. You swipe up to unlock. You can change the animation on the home launcher, and even in the app drawer as well. You can change the grid size, all that various things. Let's go ahead and swipe up again. This is just with this launcher, you swipe up to get to these. There's icon packs, there's fonts that you can change as well. Like I said, scroll effects. So there's many, many different things that you can change, and it adds a lot of customizability, and a lot of people might like that. I think it's really cool font size. When you select a font, you'll see you have a ton of different ones to choose from. Look at all these fonts. Some people might like changing their fonts. I personally don't necessarily like doing that, but some people might, so that's just a really nice thing to have as an option. Now, going into settings, you have something called Zen Motion in here. So going into Zen Motion, you have a touch gesture option when the screen is off. So you'll see if I want to launch the camera, I can type a C on the screen being off, and it should open the camera application, and it does. That gives you an idea of how quickly it opens the camera application as well. But overall, those work very well. You just got to kind of remember that they're there. Honestly, I haven't used it too much just because I kind of forget that they're there. So after a little while, it might take me some time, but I'll get used to it. Motion gesture, where you can shake the device twice and it's going to take a screenshot. That's another option. One-handed mode you have as well, which is interesting because when you activate one-handed mode, you'll see I have it right here in the quick toggles. It activates soft keys as well, so, and it works just fine. I mean, it works how your phone's going to, even if it's not in one-handed mode, but it gives you a smaller screen. You can resize it if you'd like. You can press and hold and move it around, as you can see. So you have various options, and it just kind of gives you a little more customizability and ability to tap that whole screen, because like I said, it is kind of like a phablet. All right, so let's move on to the camera. Like I said, a 13 megapixel camera. You have a dual LED flash as well. Let's go ahead and snap a very quick picture, give you an idea of it focusing, and shutter speed. Shutter speed's actually a little bit slower than what I'm used to. You have a ton of shooting modes on here as well. So you'll see right here, You have a manual mode where you can change ISO, all that good stuff, HDR. I mean, there's just too many of these. I'm fine with them being downloadable and installable separately, but including all of them, it's just crazy. One you can use is a low light one. I'll show you a sample picture real quick, and it changes it to 3 megapixels, but it does a good job at capturing a lot of light in essentially an area where you're going to have basically no light. So let me go to my gallery to show you a few pictures that I took. So go to my camera. Here's the 3 megapixel camera. This was, I mean, it's brighter in the picture than it is in person. This was in the bathroom without the light on. So you can see it, but I mean, there's a lot of just kind of noise. I took some pictures at the Blackhawks parade for the Stanley Cup, and the shutter speed was a little slow at times, but overall I could still get a good image. This was zoomed in just a little bit as well, so you'll see it worked pretty well. And then in ideal conditions, it takes some great pictures. So like I said, the light outside was great. This is essentially an ideal condition. It wasn't direct sunlight, it was probably overcast. Just look at how nice the colors pop. I mean, the camera did a good job at capturing that, but when it comes down to it, if you don't have those ideal conditions, you're just kind of out of luck, and it just doesn't perform all that great. You'll see this had a lot of light, and it kind of looks a little overexposed. Just overall, low light isn't that great either. This is a good lighting condition. So, I mean, if you're in good lighting, the camera's good, but however, if not, it's going to kind of affect performance. It's not going to be that great. Now let's go ahead and talk about battery, and I'm pretty impressed, honestly. It's a 3000 milliamp hour battery. Here's an idea. I get around 4 hours and 25 minutes screen on time average, and that's with some heavy usage. Like I said in all my videos, a lot of gaming, I mean emailing, text messaging, phone calls, everything. I essentially use my phone every day for everything. You'll see here's another one that's still got percentage left. So like I said, about 4 hours, 25 minutes screen on time average, and it also has quick charging. So it charges 0 to 100 in under 2 hours, and that's real quick if you ask me. But yeah, overall, I've been pretty pleased with battery life. So, I mean, it gets me through the day, so thumbs up Asus for the battery on this. Okay, so just want to give some final thoughts on the Asus Zenfone 2. When it comes to the screen, it's just okay. Honestly, run-of-the-mill display, but it gets the job done. So, especially, you really have to factor in the price on all of these things. The camera, even when you're in just good lighting, it's good. However, anything aside from that, it's just okay. So you're really gonna have to work with that one. And then on the speaker on the back, you have the fake grill in the back cover, and then just, it doesn't really sound that great in general. However, with that $299 price tag, it's a really great deal, in my opinion. Honestly, real world performance has been good. Just overall, it's been a solid device, and for $299 off contract, you really can't go wrong. So definitely a go for me, a solid device, and definitely thumbs up for Asus. I'm excited to see what they come out with in the future. And yeah, so good job, Asus. Hopefully you enjoyed this review video. I'd appreciate if you give it a thumbs up if you liked it. You can subscribe as well. Lots more coverage coming soon. Like I said, comparison of Idol 3 and Zenfone coming soon. And you can follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. All links in the description below. And thank you very much for watching, everyone.